Brothers and sisters, we're going to go over donning and doffing of a Half Face Elastomeric Respirator. Before wearing any respirator, before using any respirator, you need to make sure that you fully read and that you fully understand all the manufacturer's instructions. Now for our U.S. brothers and sisters, you need to make sure that you understand and follow all the rules and regulations of Occupational Safety and Health Administration, OSHA. And for our Canadian brothers and sisters, you need to make sure that you understand and that you are following all the rules and regulations of the Canadian Center for Occupational Health and Safety. Now, all of our district council training centers have a respiratory training program. You need to make sure that you attend one of those programs prior to wearing a respirator. During that program, you will understand the use and limitations of the respirator that's being issued to you. In fact, you'll understand if you're capable of wearing a respirator prior to one being issued to you. So prior to wearing a respirator, make sure that you go down to your district council training centers and you attend one of the respiratory training programs. Now today, we're going to go over the donning and doffing of my 3M 7300 series Half Face Elastomeric Respirator. I cleaned it yesterday prior to storing it, but you might ask, why is he having it in a paper bag? Well, you want to store your respirator in any container that's clean and doesn't accumulate moisture. If your container accumulates moisture, it can cause other issues. A lot of times in the field, you might see a Ziploc baggie being used. If a Ziploc baggie is what you use, make sure that you don't zip it all the way up. Make sure that you stick some type of an absorbent pad on the inside. So if the baggie does start accumulating moisture, the absorbent pad, like a paper towel, can help eliminate that. Now, my 3M 7300 series Half Face Elastomeric Respirator was cleaned, like I said, the night before. So when I take it out of my storage, I'm going to look at it and make sure that it's in good working order. I'm going to check the head strap. I'm going to check the head straps and make sure that they're in good working order. I'm going to check the neck straps and make sure that they're in good working order. I'm going to look at the body of the respirator itself and make sure that there's no cuts or tears. I'm going to make sure that the respirator is not distorted and it's in good working order. I'm going to look on the inside of my respirator and I'm going to check my inhalation valves and my exhalation valves and make sure that they're laying flat and that they're sealed and they're in good working order. I'm going to make sure, again, that my respirator is clean. And as long as I know that my respirator is in good working order, then I can start donning the respirator. But if the respirator did have a defect, then I need to make sure that I report that to the proper person. Employers are supposed to have a respiratory program that you all have to follow. Within that program, there should be a person that you go to if there's an issue with your respirator. Now, if it's a part that can be replaced, it can be replaced. But if it's a defective respirator, a respirator that's torn or can't be used or distorted and can't be used, then it needs to be replaced. Do not, I repeat, do not wear a defective respirator. This respirator is protecting you from something that is harmful to you. So make sure that your respirator itself is in good working order. Do not use a defective respirator. Now, I store my cartridges separate from my respirator. This is not a cartridge training program. This is donning and doffing of a respirator. So let me put my cartridges on prior to donning it so we can do a proper seal check with the cartridges on. My cartridges are locked in. So the first thing I'm going to do on donning and doffing this respirator is I'm going to bend over slightly. I'm going to put it over my nose, mouth, and chin. And I'm going to take the head strap. I'm going to put it on the crown of my head so it cradles it. Then I'm going to take the neck straps. I'm going to put it around my neck. Lock those in below my ears. And then I'm going to adjust the straps. I don't want to adjust it so the respirator is too tight. I want to adjust it just enough so the respirator is snug but not tight. So I've adjusted my straps. My respirator seems to be fitting good, but now I have to do what they call a seal check. And to do a proper seal check, I'm going to first do a positive seal check. And what I'm going to do is place my hand over the exhalation valve. And I'm going to blow out slightly. And you'll see my respirator kind of go away from my face. I don't want to blow too hard so it pushes completely away from my face. I just want to blow enough to see if it's leaking through the seal of the respirator. I don't feel any air leaking from my face or the seal of the respirator, so positively I got a good seal check. Now I want to do what they call a negative seal check. I'm going to place my hand over the cartridges and I'm going to breathe in just a little bit, and you'll notice my respirator suck in. And that means I don't have any air coming in from the seal of the respirator. So now I know that I got a properly fitting, seal-checked respirator. I'm ready to go to work. Now, I'm done with work, and I need to doff my respirator. Now, to properly doff my respirator, depending on the circumstances I'm in, if I'm in a really dusty area, one that's got a lot of dust, I might have dust sitting on the bridge of my respirator. I want to make sure I kind of wipe that excess off a little bit. I don't want it to follow my respirator and going into my breathing zone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually hold my respirator. I'm going to take my straps in the back. I'm going to disconnect my straps, still holding the respirator to my face. Then I'm going to take the head strap off my head. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little breath, move the respirator from my face and point it downwards. Away from my face and pointing downwards, so that way if there's anything that accumulated on the respirator, it's fallen away from my breathing zone. Thank you.